So we are here at the penultimate weekend of this championship season, and a lot could be decided over the next few days. We could see Norwich and Sheff Utd both achieving promotion this weekend, as well as seeing Rotherham relegated. So a lot of factors going into this weekend. I'm excited to see what you guys are saying about it. So as always, all this weekend's games will be in the description down below, so that you guys can easily go ahead and make your predictions. Then if you get any of them right, your comment will be included at the start of the next video. I can't wait to get into this one because we've got some really big games to predict. So without further ado, let's hop into my score predictions. So starting things out with the early kickoff on Saturday, we see Millwall going up against Stoke. A win in this game for Millwall would pretty much all but guarantee their survival for this season, unless there was to be quite a big swinging goal difference between Rotherham and themselves. 3 points in this one should do the trick for them. It's not going to be an easy game though. Stoke are never a pushover so far, their last game ending as a 2-2 draw against Norwich. Their performance levels of Stoke have been a little bit up and down so far under Nathan Jones. This game itself, I don't see there being ultimately goals scored in it. In Millwall's last 4 games, they themselves have only scored 2 goals. It's a sort of encounter where I see it being won on maybe a set piece with a corner coming into the box or something like that. I don't think there'll be all too much to separate these two sides, but with Millwall needing the points more than Stoke are at the moment and wanting to go on and secure their safety, I think they may just edge this one by 1-0, with FIFA saying it'll be a 1-1 draw. I don't think there'll be all too much in that one though. After that, we then got Birmingham going up against Wigan. I think that Birmingham are looking to end the season as strong as possible. Last week they put 3 goals past Rotherham in the second half. They're going up against a Wigan side who have secured their survival for another season in the Championship after picking up back-to-back wins in the league, beating Leeds United in dramatic circumstances and then following that up with an impressive 2-0 victory over Preston. Maybe in this one, Wigan's performance levels may dip a little bit because they don't have anything to play for anymore, but I think they'll give Birmingham a good game in this one. I don't see any reason why either side should be holding back for either, so maybe we could see quite a few goals being scored in these sort of games. They're always really tricky to predict when both sides are going up against each other with nothing to play for. I never really know which side to favour, but with this being Birmingham's last home game of the season, I think they'll be looking to end that on a high. A lot of people have been chipping in for goals for Birmingham lately. Their last 5 goals in the league have all come from different goal scorers, so a lot of people are looking to add up their tally for the end of the season with goals scored. But for this one, I think I'll just edge Birmingham for a 2-1 home victory with Wigan's safety now secured. So I'll say 2-1 Birmingham, with FIFA saying 1-0 Wigan. And then we see Bolton going up against Brentford. For this one, I'm not sure if I can see past a Brentford victory really, despite their away record not being too good. I think their last win on the road came back all the way near the start of March, I think, when they beat Middlesbrough away. But going up against the Bolton side who have lost their last 5 matches, they failed to score in their last 4 as well. And with Brentford's fantastic result last weekend, beating Leeds United, I think that some of their attacking outlets will be looking to add a couple more goals to the tally for this one. They were looking really good off the ball and on the ball against Leeds, and for this one you'd expect Brentford to hold possession for the majority of it, look to play Bolton around, and at times the Bolton defence probably will seize to some of that pressure and Brentford will have a couple of breaks where they do get through. I can see this game heading in a similar direction to Bolton's last game against Blackburn. I think eventually Brentford's pressure will pay off going forward, and I can see them getting a couple of goals in this one. So for that reason, I'll back Brentford for a 2-0 away victory in this one, with FIFA actually saying it'll be 2-0 Bolton. And then possibly the biggest game coming up this weekend sees Bristol City going up against Derby. Now this one is a really interesting encounter. Both of them are going for the top 6 and both of them have a game in midweek as well, so quite a lot of things could change between now and the final weekend in terms of who does go on to make it into that playoff spot. But for Bristol City, they are unbeaten in their last 4 home matches. However, their form lately has dropped off a little bit. They've lost 2 of their last 3, but looking at Derby's record away from home, they've not really had too much to shout about. They're without a win in their last 8 away matches now, so Bristol City may be able to find a bit of confidence from that. I think defensively, Derby have been conceding a few sloppy goals recently. We could see that in the game they had against Birmingham. However, since the reintroduction of Mason Mount and some other players coming back into the side, Derby have been scoring goals freely. It took them until stoppage time to put 2 goals past QPR, but that does see them in the driving seat for the top 6 at this point in time. I think this one's going to be a really closely encountered game. There won't be a lot in this match, but I just see Bristol City edging it by 2-1. It's just with Derby's away record, that's just playing in the back of my mind with them being a little bit inconsistent. If they can put that behind them, they've certainly got the players going forward to put this Bristol City team to the sword. But I've got a bit of a feeling about Bristol City in this one. I'll say 2-1 to them. FIFA will say 1-0 Derby. That'll be a fascinating match and has huge consequences for the rest of the season. And then we've got Middlesbrough going up against Reading. Borough will be hoping to take full advantage of Bristol City going up against Derby this weekend with at least one of them dropping points. That could see Borough go into pole position for the top 6 going into the final weekend. They're going up against a Reading side who are unbeaten in the last 4 matches now and are pretty much all but guaranteed of survival now. They're 6 points above the relegation zone and do have a much superior goal difference going up against Rotherham. The bad news from Reading coming out of last week was that Yaku Mete and Nelson Oliveira both had to go off injured, and I think they've both been confirmed now as out for the rest of the season. Those two, Mete especially lately, with their spearheads going forward, so I think that goals may dry up between now and the end of the season for Reading. They've still got some decent outlets in there, but surely Borough have to bounce back from that tragic display last time against Nottingham Forest where they were absolutely dismantled by 3-0. Borough have a good chance now to win their next 2 matches, in my opinion, going up against Reading and then playing Rotherham on the last day of the season, who could already be relegated by that point. So there can be no excuses for Borough not winning this one, I think. I will back the home side for a 1-0 victory. FIFA will say it'll be 1-0 Reading. That one could go either way because I'm really not too sure about Borough this season. And then we got my team Preston going up against Sheff Wednesday. A win in this one for Preston would see us going above Wednesday in the table, but I'm not really that confident going into this one. Last week we saw us lose against Wigan by 2-0, not the best performance from Preston. Before that we did put 4 goals past Ipswich, but that was an Ipswich side who weren't really offering much going forward. The same can't be said for Sheff Wednesday. Last week they got a tremendous victory, beating Bristol City by 2-0. Barry Bannon really pulling the strings in midfield. He scored one wonderful goal for that one. So I think this one will be quite closely contested. It is Preston's final home game of the season, so I'm hoping as a fan that we'll put on a performance for that. I can see maybe Alex Neil making a couple of changes for this one. Obviously Ryan Ledson will be suspended after getting sent off against Wigan. The interesting thing about this one is that Ben Pearson's probably going to have to come back into the side. I'm not sure if I want that because he's currently on 14 yellow cards for the season, so if he does pick up a yellow card in his next 2 matches, then he'll be suspended going into next season, which is a bit annoying. Preston's best attacking outlet lately probably has been Callum Robinson. He got 2 goals against Ipswich Town, and he's probably going to be the player who we turn to look to open up this Wednesday defence, who have been looking very tight lately. So for this one, I'm going to say it'll finish as a 1-1 draw. Don't think there'll be much in it, with FIFA saying it'll be 1-0 Preston. And then we got QPR going up against Forest. A result which came out of nowhere last week was Forest putting 3 goals past Middlesbrough. Under Martin O'Neill so far, the majority of the fans haven't been happy, but bringing João Carvalho back into the side, what a world of difference that actually made. He set up the 3rd goal in that game absolutely superbly, and I mean, he's got to be in the squad for the rest of the season now. Although Forest don't have anything to play for, I think that Martin O'Neill needs performances between now and the end of the season to have any chance of holding on to the job over the summer. They're going up against a QPR side who have confirmed their championship status now. They've lost their last 2 matches, possibly got a bit unlucky to lose against Derby. They conceded 2 stoppage time goals in that one. QPR have got some decent players in there who on their day can show up and hurt this Forest side. I'm not sure where the performance level of this Forest team will be at. If they do pick up where they left off against Middlesbrough, then they could absolutely have a field day against QPR, but I don't really see that happening. I think this one may be a little bit tighter than that game, but I will back Forest for a 2-1 away victory, I think, with FIFA saying it'll be 1-0 QPR. And then we got Swansea going up against Hull. Swansea find themselves in a really odd position at the moment because they're 5 points off the playoffs, but they do have 3 games left. They got a game midweek against Derby County, so if Swansea win their next 2 matches, who knows what's possible. It would be a mad story if they did sneak in there, but Swansea lately at home have been looking very good. They've scored 13 goals in their past 4 home matches, and they're going up against a Hull side who have lost a bit of momentum lately. They've lost their last 3 matches in the league, albeit against sides who are all going for promotion, but Swansea at the moment are looking like a really good side, especially at home, scoring a lot of goals. And with Swansea being in this position at the moment, their fans will probably be looking back at some of the silly points they've dropped throughout the season and just think what could have been for them. But with Hull going off the boil lately, I do see Swansea for all 3 points in this one. I'm going to back the home side for a 3-1 home victory, I think. I could see quite a few goals being scored in this one, with FIFA saying it'll be 2-0 Swansea. And then we got West Brom going up against Rotherham. This could be the weekend where we are seeing Rotherham slip back down into League One. It's a really hard game to predict though, because we've got Millwall going up against Stoke as the early kickoff. If Millwall do win that game, then it pretty much goes to relegate Rotherham, barring there being a massive swinging goal difference in the last 2 matches. So it's hard to know where the mentality of these Rotherham players will be at. You know, if Millwall have lost their game earlier on, then the Rotherham players will be really fired up for this one. If they've won, then they probably won't be. They're going up against a West Brom side who are unbeaten in their last 3 matches. Now, a few inconsistent performances dotted along there, but so far Dwight Gale has really been their talisman going forward. He's come back into form at just the right point in time in the season. He's scored 6 goals in his last 4 matches now. I think it'll be a typical sort of dogged Rotherham performance where they try and throw everything at West Brom. I do see them getting a couple of goals because West Brom defensively can be a little bit sloppy. They kept a clean sheet last week. The week before that, Sam Johnson had a bit of a dodgy game, but West Brom can always come back with that sucker punch with some of the goal scorers they have in this squad. I'm going to say this one will finish as a 2-2 draw, with FIFA saying it'll end 1-1. I see Rotherham really going for this one, but they could leave themselves a bit exposed at the back for someone like Dwight Gale to get in there. And then we got Sheff Utd going up against Ipswich. This could be the weekend where Sheff Utd are promoted, and you'd expect them to be beating Ipswich in all honesty, although it would be typical of the Championship for Ipswich to walk away with this one with all 3 points. I think we saw it last season when Sunderland were already relegated and they went ahead and beat Wolves on the final day. But nevertheless, the Sheffield United team still has a lot to play for. They could even still win the league actually. With Norwich drawing their last 4 matches, there's only a 3-point gap between them at the moment, and with Sheffield United having a better goal difference, and with Norwich playing Villa on the last day of the season, crazy things have happened. I was saying a few weeks ago that with Billy Sharp out injured, I thought that Sheffield United may struggle to break the teams down going forward, but the player who's really stepped up lately has been David McGoldrick. He got 2 goals in his last game, 1 fantastic goal from outside the box. Obviously, he's going up against his former club Ipswich in this one, and I could see him getting on the score sheet for this one as well, really. I think Sheffield United will put their stamp on this game fairly early on, and they could really run away with this one. I'm going to say United will win this by 3-0, with FIFA saying it'll be a 1-1 draw. Then, as the last kick-off on Saturday, we see Norwich going up against Blackburn, with Norwich only needing 1 point now to go on and secure promotion to the Premier League. They've had the chance to do it for the past few weeks, but they have stuttered and drawn their last 4 matches. They're going up against a Blackburn side as well, who are in very good form at the moment. They've won their last 4 matches, they've scored 8 goals in the process of that, and they're not going to be a rollover for this game. Blackburn are looking to end the season as strong as possible, looking to finish as high up as well. So Norwich are going to have to be on their game for this one. We saw in the game they had against Stoke that they can leave themselves a bit exposed at the back, and with Blackburn in good goal scoring form lately, they could pick up on some weaknesses there perhaps. It's not in Norwich's nature so far this season to sit back though, and I could see this one being a bit of a goal fest. I can see both teams scoring quite a few for this one. There is also the possibility that Norwich could go on and finish the season in second, with them having to go away to Aston Villa on the final day, and with Sheffield United still breathing down their neck. And for that reason, they need to be targeting all 3 points in this game. But like I said, Blackburn won't be a rollover. I could see it being a really dramatic sort of 97th minute Timu Pukki winner or something like that to go in and wrap this game up. But I think I'm going to predict Norwich for a 3-2 home victory. Like I say, I see this one being quite a dramatic game. Blackburn in very good form at the moment. FIFA said it's going to be 1-0 Norwich, but either way, I can see it being a good weekend for Norwich fans. And then as the last game going on this weekend on Sunday, we've got Leeds United going up against Aston Villa. Now, depending on what happened in the Sheffield United game on Saturday, that will probably tell us where the Leeds mindsets are at. If they want to have any hopes of going into the final weekend with a chance at automatic promotion, this one needs to be all 3 points. But it's not an ideal game going up against an Aston Villa side who have won their last 10 matches. In terms of Aston Villa, I'm interested to see how they approach the last 2 games of the season, whether Dean Smith wants to keep this run going along or whether he looks to ease up a little bit in the league, rest a couple of players and head into the playoffs with everyone at full fitness. I think out of the current top 6, if you asked everyone to go ahead and make your predictions as to who do you think the 2 sides will be battling it out in the playoff final, most people would probably come up with Leeds against Aston Villa. So this one could be a bit of a dummy run for what could be the playoff final at the end of the season, and for that reason, this one will be a fascinating tactical watch. But going up against this Villa squad who have been looking so good lately, it's a tough one to predict. Aston Villa have actually scored more goals than Leeds have so far this season as well, which is a crazy statistic. I'm sure not a lot of people would have predicted that sort of 2 or 3 months ago in the league. But for this one, I think I see this one heading level. I think I'll back it to finish as a 1-1 draw. FIFA's going to agree with me for that one. It's a tough game to predict, but surely Leeds can't keep on losing matches between now and the end of the season. But guys, there you have it. There are my championship predictions for what I think is going to happen this weekend. So do let me know down below, do you agree with mine? Let me know your score predictions. Who do you think is going to be promoted and relegated this weekend? But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you're going to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for a bit of regular championship content. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.